to 24:12. Then he said, now then he's gone across the desert. He's come to the well, and it's towards evening, and the young ladies were the servants. The young ladies were coming to draw water for the night and for the next morning. So here he is, and he remembers to pray. Would that each one of us would learn to pray when something big is about to happen. Then he said, O Lord God of my master Abraham, please give me success this day. He didn't want it stretched out. He'd been on a long journey already. And show kindness to my master Abraham. Behold, here I stand by the well of water, and the daughters of the men of this city are coming out to draw water. Now then, he makes a little test. He says, now let it be that the young woman to whom I say, please let down your pitcher that I may drink. And she says, drink, and now also water your camels. Yes. They say a camel can drink about between 20 and 30 gallons in 15 minutes. So when the girl volunteered to water the camels, that meant her pitcher would hold, back at that time, would hold about 3.5 gallons. That means she would have to make 100 to 120 trips from the well to the trough, back and forth, watering the camels. Now then, it's amazing. Now it happened before he had finished speaking, that behold, Rebekah, who was born to Bethuel, the son of Micah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother. So, cousins, marrying your cousins, I guess, came out with her pitcher and her on her shoulder. Now the young woman was very beautiful. Well, let's describe beautiful. Back then, a beautiful lady, yes, they might have nice features, but they were muscular because they were good servants. They could carry water. They could work in the house. And so dispel some of Hollywood's fame and fortune that only puts it on the beauty of the face or whatever you want to choose. And it happened that he saw Rebekah. Now the young woman was very beautiful, and behold, a virgin. No man had known her, and she went down to the well and filled her pitcher and came up. Now notice what the servant did. The servant ran to meet her. He had asked God for a specific sign. This woman that I'm going to ask to give me a drink, she will give me a drink, and then she will say, let me water your camels. A big task, a monumental task. The servant ran to her and said, please let me drink a little water from your pitcher. And so she said, drink, my lord. And she quickly let down the pitcher to her hand and gave him a drink. And when she had finished giving him a drink, she says, I will draw water for your camels. Man, you ask a prayer, and within, I don't know how long it took her to water the camels. But in that process, God gave an answer to Eliezer. It's amazing. Then she quickly emptied her pitcher into the trough, ran back to the well, draw more water for all the camels, the man was wondering at her. He remained silent. He didn't ask her questions anymore. She was busy working. So as to know whether the Lord had made his journey prosperous or not. So it was when the camels had finished drinking. Now the camels are key here. They finished drinking. That means they were full of water, okay? That the man took a golden nose ring. I don't know about this. A nose ring weighing a half a shekel, and 2 bracelets for her wrist weighing 10 shekels of gold. This was an expensive gift. He takes the nose. How many here ever grew up on a farm? Oh, 1 or 2. Okay, how many here ever put a nose ring in a calf? There you go. See, it's not that hard. I was about 7 years old when I saw my dad do that for the first time. He took this little bull, hugged his head a little bit, and he held his nose up a little bit, and he took his knife, and he ran it in and got this little skin between the 2 holes. And then he takes a ring, and he puts it in there and clips it shut. You want to do that when the bull is very little. Otherwise, he might argue with you. So, can you imagine what has taken place? He sees that God has answered prayer, and according to the custom back then, they put a nose ring in and 2 bracelets for her arms, showing that she is taken. She's engaged. She doesn't know to who yet, but she's engaged. In the Middle East, the parents kind of make the choice. Here it was God and Abraham's servant. Then he said, "Whose daughter are you?" It's almost like Jacob, the night of wrestling. And he's wrestling with God all night long, and he's fighting him, thinking he's Esau, and he's really struggling. And the angel says, it's breaking day, I need to go. He said, no, I will not. And the angel reached over and just touched his hip. Oh, he could hardly stand up. He had to stand on one leg because his hip was out of joint. And then the angel says, "What is your name?" This angel was just roaming around, wrestling with people. No, he wanted Jacob to say his name. Jacob, his name was Jacob, meaning deceiver. And he says, your name will no longer be called Jacob, deceiver, tricker, but Israel, because you have met God and you have lived. How many here want to meet God? It's in prayer and quietude with Him when nobody's around. He's an awesome God. And He wants to work a masterpiece in your life. And He has great plans for you. And then it goes on and talks about Laban coming and seeing, whoa, my sister's got a nose ring and bracelets on. What's going on here? Kind of curious, which is good. And he asked to stay at her place. And they said, come and lodge with us. We have straw and food for your animals also. And now then notice, Eliezer does not sit down when they set the table and he's ready to eat. He says, before I eat, I have to tell you why I'm here. Don't be distracted. We get distracted. Oh, the food. Oh, I like that. well, they got broccoli and they got all this scrumptious food. And we get distracted. Tell the people why you're there. God has sent you on a mission to share with the world. And he said, blessed is he, and he said, blessed be the Lord God of my master Abraham, always giving credit to God, who has not forsaken his mercy and his truth towards my master. As for me being on the way, the Lord led me to this house for my master's brethren. So the young woman ran and told her mother, the household, these things. Now Rebekah had a brother named Laban, and Laban ran out to the man by the well. So it came to pass when he saw the nose ring and the bracelets on his sister's wrist, and when he heard the words of his sister Rebekah, saying, thus the man spoke to me. It's important how we speak to people. What kind of a voice do we use? Is it a condemning voice, or is it a voice showing love and care? And he went to the man, and there he stood by the camels at the well, and said, come in, O blessed of the Lord. Why do you stand outside? For I prepared the house and a place for the camels. And the man came to the house and unloaded the camels, and the servants came to eat. So here we find a wonderful picture of God. God is in charge. The question is, do you believe him? Do you really believe him? Eliezer prayed a prayer and watched God answer a prayer right before him. That builds faith for the next time. That builds faith for when you need it. How do we build faith? Step by step, step by step. Okay, I'm going to have Mr. Baird come up here. He's going to be my helper today. I picked somebody bigger than me. And you can go get the other picture. I want to show you this picture as he's getting the big one. And I want you to show you the picture. And notice this was painted by a young girl in the ninth grade. And do you see who did that? Now, did you notice? She looked right down in the right-hand corner. She's looking for the signature. You know that? That is neat. You can bring that out too, young man. She painted this picture, and it was neat, and she had her name on it. Another person painted a picture, and you see, this was hanging in the pastor's study. I left it here when I left. So, you know who drew this picture? Nathan Green. And he signed it right down here, yes. So when the artist considers that he's done with a picture or with the masterpiece, he signs his name. Now then, Steve and I are going to bring around this big picture, and I want you to find the name on this picture, okay? Now this is another young girl, and she did this with just a palette knife. She didn't use a brush, but just took and worked on that. Do you find a name on there? No. Let's go over here and show this other side. Do you find a name on this picture? If you did, you have eyes that are better than the other side. You know why the name is not there? She's not finished. Isn't that amazing? She's not finished with it, so she didn't. This part, I said to her, it looked finished to me because I'm not an artist. I said, well, that could be snow, maybe, but I don't know. But she says, no, it's not finished. So she didn't put her name on. And it would have been the same as the other one, Gil Rogers. That was neat. They just set that right here, I guess. I hate to block that. But I want you to remember, God is looking forward to the time when he can put his name on you. When he can say, I've worked in that person's life. I've done many things for them and with them, and they trust me completely. They will not desert me because they've learned to really trust me. Trust me when it seems impossible. Trust me when everything is going wrong. We trust the Lord because he knows the way through the wilderness. And all we have to do is follow. Are we willing to follow? You know, how does God mark his people? I don't know if I want to jump there yet. Look at 1 Corinthians 13:12. 1 Corinthians 13:12. Paul is telling us that sometimes we don't understand everything. 1 Corinthians 13:12. We don't understand everything, and he put it in words and painted a picture with words. 13:12. For now, we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now we know in part, but then we shall know just as I also am known. So as we know one another, Jesus Christ is working with us. And we don't know what he really wants with us yet. He hasn't taken us through all the steps of trusting him explicitly, trusting him only. As we go through the valleys, think about Job. God put his name on Job. Let's go back to Job, chapter 1. This is a great story, and sometimes when I read it, I say to myself, God, don't say good things about me. Because God said good things about Job, and look what happened to him. And the Lord said to Satan, this is in Job chapter 1, I'll start with verse 6, paints the whole picture. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord. And Satan also came among them. So the Lord asked Satan, from where do you come? So Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro on planet Earth, walking back and forth. He's insinuating wherever his foot has stepped, that's his place. So the earth is now mine. Satan's a little digging at God. Then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? That there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man, one that fears God and shuns evil. Coming from the Lord, that's pretty good. You'd like to hear the Lord say that about you. Careful. He can say that about you. But there's a responsibility, because Satan puts it to the test. He took all of his stuff, his camels, his sheep, all of his children, and they were all killed and gone. And Satan is eagerly waiting and watching, saying, and now watch him. He's going to curse God. He's going to curse God for taking all that stuff away. And Job says, the Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh. Blessed be the name of the Lord. I can just see Satan's reaction. I want another test, God. I want another test. Naturally, he will serve you because you protected him. You didn't let me touch his life, touch his person. Let me touch his person. And God says you can touch him, but you can't kill him. And Satan came back and gave him boils. See, Satan can work miracles. In the last day, he's going to work miracles. If he can give a person boils, he can take them away too. And Job's wife said, Job, just curse God and die. She had the same philosophy that his three friends had. If you curse God, he's going to kill you. No, God doesn't kill you on the first time you curse God. It's the 120th million times that you curse him that he finally says, okay, that's really what you want. We'll give it to you. But, as I look at this story, and I was reading, and I said to myself, there it is, Revelation 7, 1-3. Let's turn there. That's when God is going to put his name on his masterpiece, meaning his name on you. Revelation 7, it comes right after Revelation 6. Most Bibles, if I can, my thumbs are not turning it. There you go. Okay. And here, let's read this together. After these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that wind should not blow on the earth, on the sea, or the trees. Then I saw another angel ascending from the east, from God, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was granted to harm the earth and the sea, saying, do not harm the earth, the sea, or the trees, till we have sealed the servants of God in their forehead. So where does God put his signature? In our forehead. Because he's imprinted on our minds his wonderful love, his wonderful grace. And if we believe that, we'll be like Abraham. And Abraham believed, and it was accounted to him for righteousness. Do you believe? Do you really believe that you can be saved by grace through faith? Yes, we can. The Bible teaches that. We are saved through faith by grace because Jesus Christ paid the price. And my challenge to you this week, I want you daily, weekly to come into a close relationship with God. Because once you do, and you see all the miracles he's willing to do for you and for his church and for his people, you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed. I look out here at my brother. He played a song that brought back memories to me. My mom's favorite song, The Love of God. The love of God. If every man on earth, if the ocean was filled with the ink, and every stalk on earth a quill, and every man a scribe by trade, to write the love of God above would drain the ocean dry. God's love is so immense. Let's not zero in on Satan's toys. Let's look at what God has done, what he's willing to do, and let him take control of each of our lives. To get there, all we have to do is trust and obey. For there's no other way to be happy in Jesus. Let's turn to our closing hymn, Trust and Obey. We serve an awesome God, and he's wanting to do even more for each one of us every day, all the way.
Please stand for our opening hymn. Hymn number 590, Trust and Obey. Our closing hymn. I said opening hymn, didn't I?